Avestan was much larger than she'd imagined, and the miles were endless. At least Cassandra Lee had left the desert behind, she thought, as she trudged along mile after mile of well-rutted dirt road in the seemingly endless expanse of the Tal'Doran Empire. Days and nights melted by, and the people in her head built a picture of this heaven on Galarian for her, even if only one of them had ever seen it, as miles dropped away by the hundred. With her eyes closed and her feet following the road as if on instinct, she saw herself on shining chrome catwalks spanning huge metal chasms with cities at the bottoms, bustling hives full of humans and other people from worlds that she didn't even have words for, hard at work on their shared mission, doing work that no one in this world could even imagine, let alone understand. And she could see them waiting for her. There were great machines built almost entirely of glass where her siblings slept and grew and waited. And there were so many of them in these huge arrays spanning the walls of vast chambers and assembling android after android, building an entire people, as many and varied as any other, hundreds of hydraulic hearts pumping with their nanomachine-laden blood and waiting to be born, waiting to join her. And she wondered how many of them were left. How many more androids had been built inside the Silver Mount in the thousands of years since it had touched down. There were other wonders for her to see, entire worlds in miniature, built inside transparent domes that could have their own skies, make the sun and the moon for themselves, and change the very ground the people walked upon to whatever suited them. She saw miracle after miracle in that place, and the longer she walked, the farther away it felt. And then she opened her eyes quite suddenly without knowing why. Her next step carried her just off the edge of the road. Her ankle rolled when it hit the uneven surface and she stumbled, lurched forward, and hit her face on the corner of a pole of a farmer's fence, then tumbled over backwards onto the ground. This is Pot Against the Machine.
Against the Machine. Against the Machine.
Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder. Welcome back to Pot Against the Machine, the only Pathfinder actual play that'll rub butter all over your robot ports. I'm your host, and here's everybody.
Oh man,
We can tell you as a podcast that is almost a majority of IT professionals always butter your robots.
butter your ports.
Don't open the ports. Don't ford the ports. Butter the ports.
Machine running slow. Butter them ports.
Butter them ports.
Start with port 22 and just work your way up from there.
57, all the good ports.
Yeah. Got a butter port 445 if you want to share some
I
files.
think UDP is like utter dairy, please. Good night, Sam.
Yep, that's it for that one. Previously on the program, the party recovered from their rough night and took a little bit of time to gather themselves and, go back to bed. And they got up in the morning facing another day in the Scar the Spider with one destination in mind, the machine caves, to see if they could get any help from Binox, the robot that lives there. But first, everybody ate apples, and it didn't go well for anyone except for Brixby. Tarasi, notably, is sick for the whole day because his apple was real bad. Kira and Alwyn just sort of didn't like their apples, but Brixby enjoyed an apple and enjoyed a glob of paste from the Numerian Connections machine. After that, the party made their way into the machine cave where they found that some of the robots they had earlier defeated, a couple of the mannequins and a couple of the murder balls, had been combined into murder ball mannequins, which didn't actually put up that much of a fight. They went down pretty easy. And then Brixby finally got his revenge on that steam trap that had blasted the party a couple times a few days ago. And unlocked the big glaukite door leading into the office of one Binox, a large, many-armed robot, which he was an interesting fella. It demanded a tribute of one of the party's bodies to disassemble. They quickly talked him down from that to just kind of having a little chat and maybe a time-worn pistol, which it seemed to work. The robot seemed to be placated, and when we left last week, it said it might be able to help. That's where we are now.
How would you, in your infinite graces, help us? Again, that's me, hippopotamus that's speaking.
Yes, Bimbalimpopus. We Binox, the mighty Binox, the reclaimer, the reconstructor, we can use our great skills. We can build wonderful weapons for you. We can repair whatever, anything that you find in this entire world, we can repair it. And, well, what do you need from us?
You can repair it. This is out of character. Can this MF, which means machine forger,
Mighty fine.
fix time-worn items, possibly? Because he looked at the time-worn item and was like, or they was like, I can do something with this, and like threw it behind them. Like, is this your narrative purpose? Don't answer that. This is just open speculation.
Could they also do cybernetic implantation?
Oh, yeah. Put that stuff in my body.
Because Sam did say even if we still had access to the choking tower, we couldn't have used that because we also needed someone that knew how to do it, not just a lab.
For cybernetics, you essentially need somebody with a good heal skill who can do the surgery.
Oh, they just need a high heal skill. And it looks like he's probably got a good heal skill. He's got like 12 arms. Those two things are correlated, right?
The more arms you have, the better you are at medicine.
At healing.
I read that on the Mayo Clinic website.
And healthline.com.
It's like real. It's short for mayonnaise clinic. It's not really Mayo.
Yeah, it was a Hellman's website.
The Hellman's Institute.
We want to give it all our time worm stuff. Just toss it in a pile.
We could give him a good bit of it. We do have a lot of tech stuff because we weren't able to sell it in Eidenvey because they would have chased us out with pitchforks if we tried to sell them a battery, but
Sorry, your powers are so vast that we are but using a small cup in the ocean. So could you perhaps let us know specifically how you could help us with your multiple restorative and reparative powers?
As we said, we can repair any item. You bring us this old, broken things, we can repair them, we can bring them back to their former glory. We can fashion new articles. We need raw materials, we need parts. But this facility is a fully equipped military lab. We can create the finest weapons. We can create many different technological items. Almost anything you can dream of. But we do require raw materials.
Double chainsaw?
A double chainsaw. Maybe.
It's a chainsaw, but on the chain, instead of little sharp links, it's smaller chainsaws.
Smaller chainsaws.
So mechanically speaking, you basically have to pay the item creation costs for the items, but Binox has a military lab and a production lab as far as crafting technological items go, and can use them to craft technology, and Binox also can theoretically restore time-worn technology to actual functioning technology, also at a cost, which is half of the cost of the object in pristine condition.
So what do they do with the money?
I mean, that's kind of a meta thing. It's basically
Binox go shopping
paying
on the
them
weekends,
in
or
parts that they use to do the work, kind of.
yeah.
So I'm like
Yeah.
trying to see what stuff we have that's time worn. There's the hard light shield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's, I think, the last couple of things of loot we haven't gotten, unless somebody else added them, haven't been added yet. But, like, we have a lot of stuff that we were probably planning to sell because it was time worn, but haven't gotten around to because we'd have to go back to Torch to sell it. So we have quite a bit. And he built a Zuma railgun. Do we have the money for that?
Yeah, this is the weird thing because like I intentionally don't want to look at the technology guide because I don't want to know what's in the technology guide. But I don't know what to ask for from Robot Santa Dad.
That's specifically a weapon I saw in Hero Lab before because I tried to see what it would look like to build like a tech gunslinger character. I'm like, oh, that might be a fun character to bring in. And I was looking at like the cost of these kind of items. I'm like, okay, never mind. You can never create a character with this.
If it's that expensive for GMPC, maybe we circle back to it.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, yeah, I was going to say, like, I've looked at a little bit more than you have, because, like I said, there's times I've tried to, but I still haven't looked at, like, a lot of I've looked at a couple of the weapons. Like, I don't know anything about any of the other, because, like, I know there's, like, those, whatchamacallem suits, but those don't really work good for anybody. The only one would be, like, maybe Brixby, but even then, they're not super great. But I don't know if there's any other kind of tech armor that might be better for, like, frontliners or anything like that. Can we ask Binox, like, is there something that you could build that might be useful to us? Like, would they know? Yeah, like, looking at us, is there something you can think of that you think might help us fight the brain
Oh,
stealers?
if we replaced you with robots, that would work wonderfully. We could try. We have so many things that we could possibly make. It is difficult to concentrate on one specific thing, but if you, like, think about it between times when you are actively engaged in this world and come back to us with specific requests, perhaps that would be the best way.
Because if you could build me that necklace I've been trying to buy for, like, the last 3 months, that would be awesome.
I think you actually haven't even done, like, a engineering check on Binox to see what kind of robot this is,
What he is.
in case
Yeah.
anybody's interested.
That's thinking with 23 intelligence, which you have.
Got a 3 on the die for a 12.
So Allowan doesn't know what Binox is.
Pretty sure he's a robot of some kind.
But dress number 27.
27, I think, is exactly the DC to identify a reclamation robot or reclamator. They're masters of salvage and construction. They appeared to have been originally designed to build structures and repair all manner of technology with speed and precision. Construction of these robots is very complex and is probably difficult and time-consuming, but they would likely repay those spent resources swiftly with their own ability to rebuild and repair other robots or technological items. Their truly remarkable programming surprises even those who can develop them, as these machines can salvage items thought to be far beyond repair.
Is that pretty much all there is to know? Brixby dropped a 38 on that as well.
You can ask a couple questions on the reclamation robot.
Are there any? I mean, we don't want to fight you. That's not our goal. How how do we stay in your good graces? Just bring you garbage. Does anyone have any questions about our friend Pinox?
Can we ask about its ports, or is that rude?
What are your ports like?
It feels rude.
Serial and
buttery.
parallel. Serial and parallel only. We kick it old school.
Mmm.
That was like peak Androffin technology when he was made.
Yeah, I love a good RS-232 connection. Let's get into it.
IT.
All IT all the time now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a kind of deep soul connection to the fraught and frazzled robot that repairs a bunch of broken electronics all day. For sure, there is something to be said. I love this NPC. This is maybe my favorite NPC so far, and I want to protect Binox at all costs. I don't even care what he makes us.
Aw.
Well, if we can figure out a way to sneak that chip into him, we can make him feel familial connections with us or whatever. Isn't that what it does? It gives him emotions.
Compassion, yeah.
Yeah, compassion and empathy and the ability to form bonds. But I think with Brixby's role, he can probably tell that this type of robot
He
isn't
doesn't have anything
compatible with a memory facet. There's not really a way to install it in them.
Look, empathy is inherently incompatible with Binox's line of work.
He could
Binox.
create a port for himself. Mighty Binox, do you have anything that you have repaired that perhaps we might be able to utilize, of course being compensated, but in all that you have found in this valley, do you have anything that would, weapons or items we could use to reclaim this valley for you by ridding it of the dominion of the black?
We have, and then Binox kind of leans in confidentially, lowering its voice. Goes, we have explosives, and then arms up in the air again, standing up again, flailing the arms around to emphasize the
It's
explosives.
so cute. I love him.
Incredible.
We have found numerous explosives, and also guns and things. If you have interesting parts to trade, we can provide you with these items. And Binox will start shuffling off towards the east, towards a hallway over there.
We're going to find out after 63 more episodes of spelunking that he discovered the neurocam, and it's just been here in his loot this whole time.
Just been hanging on to it.
It's just part of one of his sculptures. We got a Scatterlight suit from the Pale Stranger too, didn't we?
Yeah, I believe there was
he have a
a
Scatterlight
red
suit?
Scatterlight suit.
Yeah. I was gonna say that'd be something we could trade him because none of us are gonna use it.
Binox makes their way over to the far eastern end of the room where there's a hallway that snakes around and stops at a door. But Binox stops right by the door and opens up a panel in the wall and pulls out a box that had been hidden inside the wall, and spins around with it with a rather sizable box and flops it on the floor in front of them. We have a cache. We have a cache of weapons. We are willing to trade with you. And when they crack it open, there are 12 grenades, a pistol, and a rifle in there.
Let's grab those guys.
Grenades. Without the launcher. If only we'd kept the launcher, he could have restored it. Man.
Or the laser pistol cannon from Maros.
Yeah, the rifle.
Oh, the turret from the wall.
Oh, the fully auto one that yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But that is, I don't know, that's cool. I mean, I assume that also Binox will hopefully be here, and that like the end of this book isn't like us nuking the Scar of the Spider.
You would nuke Binox?
No. This is me, Zach, talking to Sam.
Just like her sec. Fourth
You
wall
would
cannot
nuke
contain
its
him.
body? Jail for Brixby.
No,
Jail
no.
for 1,000
It's me,
years.
It's me. It's Hippopotamus. We're friends.
Your good old buddy.
We all have means of seeing in the dark, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We can give him a flashlight too. That was another thing we got off someone at some point.
Yeah, I did. I think that was the first thing that we proffered him, and he was
Yeah,
kinda
we
like,
did offer the
"Eh."
flashlight, and he was like,
Oh, we did offer the flashlight. That's right, before the Time Worn guns. I forgot.
Yeah, I definitely liked the gun better than the flashlight.
don't we all?
Well, we have a red scatterlight suit.
Yeah, the pistol and rifle, mechanically, like, what are they? Would they be worth trading for Asuma? Because right now she's the only one of us proficient with firearms.
If you'd like to roll engineering on them to identify.
Sure. Trash, only a 21.
Let me see if that is good enough for either of them. It doesn't look like it.
If only I wasn't sickened. Be a 23. Him-de-bim-bim-bee. I want to take a look at this.
Stumbling over, trying to come up with a yes, of course, barrel. And then that's a 27. The 4 off the die.
Well, it looks like actually you've seen the pistol before. You've actually gotten similar pistols before. It is an EMP pistol.
Ooh, those are cool.
The rifle is, I believe, a new item for everyone here. It is an arc rifle. Sure. An arc rifle is a larger, more powerful version of an arc pistol, which of course shoots bolts of ionized particles that it then electrifies, creating a crackling beam of electricity between it and the target. It gains a +2 circumstance bonus on attack rolls against targets that are metal or are wearing medium or heavy metal armor. It does electricity damage. So it's kind of like Asuma's ice gun, except it's an electricity gun. 2d6 electric damage.
Yeah, honestly, the rifle looks more interesting. And yeah, I would say out of anything, but it would be for a GMPC. But it would round out her. I mean, I guess we need an acid gun, but that would give her like 3 different forms of elemental damage.
And she has all the hands she needs for him.
Yep, exactly. She can literally hold 2 guns and a.
Yeah, she can hold all 3 and a shield.
I would be fine to trade in the RoboJack. Like I said before, that's like be fine for wonderful thing for a party that doesn't have an impossible bloodline sorcerer in it. As well as like I was saying, it's prohibitively expensive if we were even to try to refill it for half the cost. 15k for like a low DC control spell. So yeah, that might be some good fodder for old Binox take.
It sounds good to me.
I think, Binox will definitely be willing to snatch both of those in separate hands and sort of clutch the RoboJack a little bit covetously, because Binox knows what a RoboJack does. And they're like, this is very unsafe in the hands of the flesh of the gristly, bony thingies. We will relieve you of this. We will protect it from foul use. Of course, yes, this is good. You may have this gun, and yet another claw hand will grab the rifle and pass it over to another hand on the correct side of the robot and hold it out. You may have this gun as payment for your service in eliminating this dangerous technology from the world as a whole. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, friend Crimplepims. Yes. This is perfect. Wonderful.
I know nothing of the relative value of these items, so I'm sure that our new robot friend is totally like, yeah, so, Suma, you could use this arc rifle in the interim. Seems quite dangerous, the thing's made of metal. And perhaps we could leave the master to their work and come back if we find anything else that might need a little zhuzh, as they say.
That sounds like a good idea. Thank you for this rifle. I should be able to make good use of it. I keep running into things that I can't hurt with the guns that I had to begin with.
Now that we've done our duty of outfitting a GMPC with a cool freaking weapon, I guess we doff our caps to Binox.
Before we do, Tarazi would kind of just describe, and this is like third hand, but describe Cassandra Lee, the one that they had seen, not knowing that there's multiples. He hasn't listened to the intros, and ask Binox if he'd seen any android kind of resembling that. They were trying to see if one of their friends had passed through here.
So I think Binox is seems to be staring at Tarazi and listening as he describes Cassandra Lee. Does he say the name or just give a description?
Nope, just a description.
And Binox seems to be listening, but at the same time, when the description ends, Binox is just kind of frozen there, staring at Tarazi, and you can't tell if it can see you or what's going on. It's almost like it turned off, and then finally it kind of just scuttles backwards a little bit and says, We have never seen that person. We have never seen that person.
Ah, okay. Well, we thank you graciously for your generosity, etc.
Yes, we thank you for your humble tributes. We thank you for your participation. We thank you for recognizing the might of Binox, the recreator, Binox the builder, Binox the great.
Good job.
All hail Binox. All hail Unity.
Do you have a pamphlet on the Unity thing I could read as we're leaving? Because pretty sure the scene is over, but whatever.
Yes.
We'll come
We
back.
could put one together for next time.
We may also be interested in becoming Unitarians.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, and Elowen would say, I'm also interested in hearing more about this god of yours. I'm very interested in hearing about other gods.
Binox blinks at Alwyn. Its little red eyes kind of seem to open and close, like it's blinking at him like it doesn't know what he's talking about. These things do not compute.
Oh, because he said other god.
All right, what's the plan?
Hey, what's this stuff? I went north.
So Tarazi has made his way back through the steam pit room and then gone through the northern hallway from there, which, as all hallways seem to do in this place, almost immediately takes a 90-degree turn.
Oh, no.
And here Tarazi can see straight up ahead a 20-foot wide room that is dominated by a towering pillar of glowing metal and flashing lights that looms 50 feet up into a silo-like space above. This towering pillar periodically vents small puffs of steam, and the air within the little square room is cloyingly warm. Condensed water drips down the walls and pools on the floor.
Found the server room.
Oh, no.
Let's poke it.
So if Tarazi steps past that sort of glowing cylinder 50-foot tall pipe thing, he sees an identical room beyond it, but in this one the cylinder appears to be inactive and damaged, but he can see from there, like, there's the passage keeps going forward and there's another cylinder beyond, but there's also to the north, it looks like there's another cylinder.
I'd guess Binox doesn't care because they could fix anything.
Of course.
Or Binox can't fit into this room to fix these things.
There's that.
Can we roll anything on these pillars?
These would be knowledge engineering.
Knowledge engineer. Oh, Daddy, there. It's a nat 20 for a 43.
Dang. Well, you are looking at an array of pylons that all working together form a geothermal generator. The components of this generator reach far into the earth and tap upon superheated water, steam, and even magma to generate power. Once activated, a geothermal generator can continue to function indefinitely. These generators tend to run physically hot, and touching them can cause fire damage, but also they generate enormous amounts of power with a yield of 200 charges when fully active. This one is clearly damaged as one of the pylons is non-functional.
Could I roll over that roll to know that if this pylon was fixed, would it do anything different? Is this like affecting Binox possibly?
It is based. It's affecting how much power is available to Binox, and basically like what he can do in his labs at a time. Currently, he's probably limited, as the full output of the geothermal generator isn't available. But if this was repaired, then he'd have more power available. He'd be able to do more crafting.
And what does that look like? Is there any implicit knowledge? Does it look like it's missing a part? Does it seem like it's a skill or a spell?
It looks like it's effectively like HP damage to the generator.
Ah, I see. So something that like maybe some castings make whole.
Yeah, something to that effect.
So it looks like these pylons, they pull energy and hold energy. And this one here, your near Eloin and you, Tarazi, is broken, obviously, because it's not glowing. But if we were to repair this, I think it would possibly strengthen or widen the berth of what Binox could do inside of their facilities. It looks like maybe a make whole spell could do something.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask. I have regular make whole, and I think greater make whole was in one of the spell books we got if we need that one instead.
Pretty sure I have make whole greater.
Because we could come back another day and Brooks could swap out to that one if we have to. But I can try casting regular make whole on it and see if it does anything.
If you want to, Jeff the player is wondering if Binox forgets as much as they do, will they know to be grateful, or are we just doing this, to help expedite potential future crafting?
So you're thinking like a sense motive to see if you think Binox would care about this repair or remember that you guys did it?
Yeah. Well, I think what he's saying is, like, you're wondering if doing it would give him more power and then he wouldn't have the memory issues anymore, so he might remember that we made this deal with him and not, like, attack us. Is that what you were thinking? Or?
No, I think it was more, because it seems to more be power at his disposal than affecting them personally. But if they forgot Isuma every time they saw her, I'm sure we could remind them about the deal. I just don't know whether, if we want to spend spell slots on it if it's not going to, improve their demeanor or anything towards us.
I jammed the thing in the port first before using a spell slot, but I don't have those, so what do I know?
You have spell slots?
I have a couple. I have a couple spell slots.
I also have 8 level 2 spell slots.
And I think you can safely say that it would take several castings of Greater Make Whole to repair the damage to this thing.
Okay.
So, it might not be worth it spell slot wise to take care of that now or ever, depending. Also of note, as Kira has kind of maneuvered through several of these power core silo thingies, she can see that on the north side, north of the generator pylon that she's near, there is another door.
It's another door.
Which Asuma said they both lead to Binox, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you you saw Binox go through or go up to a door that was on the east side of their room.
Yeah,
so
this one over here.
it seems like there's another thing between you and there, but eventually that would just, after that, probably lead back into Binox's throne room sort of thing.
Not to meta, but I think that maybe we don't want to walk through a room when we got into that room by succeeding on a series of difficult skill checks. I feel like there's probably a cost to the front door as well, but
Fair.
could
Yeah.
be wrong.
I don't think that would be meta to assume that, like, after every other door we tried in here was trapped, to think this one might be too.
Yeah, or whatever could potentially be behind it. But again, I don't know. It's not like we need to necessarily like shake down and steal from Binox immediately, because create a working relationship with this person. For them to turn the Halic into a full-on starship or whatever.
Aww.
And then we can start playing. I do, and then we can start playing Starfinder with these characters. It'll be great. So, we've done the thing. We need to still go and grab Mora, bring her out with us. But then I don't think there's any other way to cut it. We need to go to the Dominion.
I think the sooner the better. Well, after we, finish our task of reuniting lost lovers.
So we take Mora's body out of the cave as well.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Mora's body was still back in the scrap-filled room on the southern side. It's just where you remember it. No one has disturbed her. But if you can pick that up and place her in the bag alongside the remains of Nemgetter.
I think we should bring them to Padas. I think it's the most beautiful place here. Unless we intend to bring them somewhere else. But who knows? I mean, Asher was from Geb's Breach. Like, who knows how far Nemgetter could have come, or the Pathfinder. We just have to specify this isn't like a composting situation, which might be difficult.
Yeah, he might not be the best person to leave organic matter with.
Just run the chainsaw through it a couple times.
Really churn that mulch.
I think Asuma sort of, after a second, as you're packing away the body, will say, if I may, back on my world, what we would do is we would find a hilltop, and we would bury the dead as high on the hill as we could.
That's beautiful and probably fitting and likely easier to find a high point. So maybe we do that. Can we just logistically hand wave bringing them to a place and burying them on the top of a plateau?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Perhaps.
all it takes is time, and you're surrounded by basically cliffs, so if you make your way up on top of one of those things, you certainly have a commanding view. It's just a matter of spending the time to get up there and dig a couple graves to bury the long separated lovers from however long ago that was.
Let's do that. Gotta be honest, I really want to click on this door. I'm gonna move away from it so that I can't do it.
So, yeah, I think maybe when we do get up there and we do get them buried, You know, this is the peace that you two deserve together. She'll say an Androphen, for the sake of Asuma, and also, does anybody else want to say anything?
I don't think Asuma will say anything. She'll just sort of draw some symbols in the dirt over where they've placed them.
Thank you.
I think Alan would just like bow his head like formally and just kind of not say anything either, but just show that it's a solemn occasion.
Then we head towards the Dominion.
All right.
Maybe do a recast of Delay Poison Communal, because we've tooled around a bit. I don't know where we're at with that.
Yeah, I think between, traveling up to the machine cave, which is not super quick, and then going out and climbing up and digging graves, it's been some time, so you probably do need to re-delay your poison.
That will get Zuma back up to full health. Okay. And yeah, I will cast Delayed Poison again. I will use the second of the 3 charges on the rod for the day to give us that 2 hours instead of 1.
Sick.
All right. And you make your way deeper into the valley than ever before, this time passing by following the river, passing by where you swung north to go to the Migo Caves, passing by where the 3 streams meet, where Hersik's little lean-to is still sitting there, but there's no sign of him. And then heading into that last sort of remaining chunk of the valley. It's almost shaped like a creature's head, the remaining piece. As you're traveling, and this takes some time because this is several miles, we're talking about walking, Asuma is kind of describing this place, which is where she fled from when she first awoke here, and she says at the source of the river there is a monstrous, rotting beast. It's fully hundreds of feet long. I don't know what it is or what it was. It seems to be dead, but I think that these creatures, the Dominion of the Black, they use it as a facility of some kind. They come out of it.
That's gross.
It is super, super duper gross.
Well said.
And still sickened, he just kind of turns over and snake vomits.
Pardon me. Bad apple.
Try to do it passively. Just relax your throat muscles.
I'm too active.
Snakes vomit.
Active vomiting.
I mean, everything vomits if you give it enough motivation.
If you fail enough fort saves.
Gross apples.
So Asuma leads the way along to the end of the river where there is a kind of small lake, large pond that is murky, and you can see from a ways off this huge thing, this enormous, hulking, decomposing thing just lying in the water, like taking up the greater part of this pond and baking in the autumn sun.
Yeah. Can we do a roll on this? Would that be dungeoneering, or I'm guessing it's something like that most of these guys seem to be?
It would be probably either dungeoneering or dark tapestry lore.
That one's got 5 higher, so I will do that one. That is a 23 dark tapestry lore. Looking at this gargantuan corpse.
Well, what great beast this enormous hulk once was is hard to say. Now it rots in the sun, the vile odor aggressively assaulting the air around it. This thing is over 400 feet long, its bulbous body rising half that height into the sky, with vast folds of rugose fat, coils of thick mottled tentacles, greasy bulbs and slippery knobs, spiny ridges, and stranger organs lie sprawled in every direction. Patches of red fungus grow in shady nooks on the thing, but in most places its hide is reminiscent of an elephant's coarse skin, with patches of shiny octagonal scales and tufts of wiry hair-like growth sticking out. Pustules are scattered along its leathery surface as well, some of which have burst, oozing a viscous yellow-green liquid. The water around it is stained and foul, and no plant life grows within a few hundred feet of the remains. Now, Alwyn, I mean, obviously none of you have ever seen anything like this before, but I think that Alwyn's rather unique connection to a very different world may have held legends of enormous beasts that are bred to fly between the stars and carry inside them all manner of creatures. Like, these things are like ships, but they're alive, at least until they get where they're going. And then they land, and they die, and they deteriorate over the course of generations, and they're essentially living spaceships.
Yeah, I think that's what he would say to everyone. Then he'll say, as incredible as it may sound, this thing, it's most likely how the Dominion got here. They don't use ships like the Androphans had. They use things like this. It's a creature that was bred to carry them through space, and once it gets where it's going, it dies and becomes what we see here.
We should probably pull on our masks. This looks gross. Like real grody.
Yeah, it really does.
It's worse than I imagined.
Mask activated.
Does Azuma also have 4 nostrils? Are they smelling this like in...
Probably, but she also has a filter mask. She'll pop hers on as well.
Matching.
I don't think any of us would have seen anything this, because even like dragons aren't 400 feet long. Like, I can't imagine how big this thing must be.
Yeah. See,
Like friggin' 4 blue whales.
Is there any, like, readily apparent means of ingress or, like, crossing this water? Or does it just look like it's kind of like a moat between us and it?
the water seems to mostly be fairly shallow, though this sort of parts where it gets darker over here, it appears to be much deeper. Most of it, at least along the shore here, is wading distance, and you can sort of see the creature like descends into the depths, and like what is under the water has collapsed and spread out. So it's kind of forming a surface under there that is walkable through a large portion of it. Asuma will sort of point towards the far end of the creature and say, on that side is where I've seen them come and go from. There are these tubes that give access to the inside of the creature.
Well, Levi can swim, so could always wade through the shallower parts as we head that direction, and then if we need to swim through any deeper parts, he could take turns. I'll be honest, though, if it wasn't for helping your friends, I'd have no interest in examining this gigantic desiccated corpse. we're looking for an Orange Julius in a cave. And if this is what our friend thought of as a cave, Ew.
That presupposes that no one has ever visited this Orange Julius. It hasn't ever been discovered or found. Or that there aren't caves somewhere. Can we even see beyond this thing? They're like, maybe like a cave annex, like a...
I don't think that you can see past this monstrous thing.
See, we don't even know. Like, it could literally be a gross bio dungeon, or it could just be like a really weird water slide to get us to the other side, or something like that. So, but this is we nearly turned over every cave in the swamp Mago area. This is what remains. We have a few spare kegs we could check when we're done, but if anything, they're going to impede our progress here, and this is most likely where the Orange Julius would wind up, given its nature.
Sneak thumbs up.
Half orc thumbs up.
So what's that, aqua assault? We walking in the front tube?
Let's do it.
We're in the front door everywhere else we visited in this place. We might as well.
Continue the trend.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
Enter the tube.
Well, as you start heading along, wading through the water along this creature, the first thing that you see swimming through the deeper parts of the water, right along the flesh of this horrible hulk, is a long spiny fin sticking up out of the water. And that gives you just a few seconds warning before that long spiny fin reveals that it's attached to a long dolphin-like body of an enormous eel-headed predator that rears up out of the water. It's time to roll for initiative.
That thing looks. Is it smoking a pipe?
Has it been 12 hours?
I don't think it's been
Probably not.
12 hours.
Meat.
You better roll than last time. God. I'm not the only one that sees a pipe in the bottom left corner with like a gout of flame coming from the pipe up to the thing's mouth.
It's an iconic shooting it.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Oh, it does look pipey.
Yeah, the shape of it just looks like a pipe.
All right. How about the Feverish Brixby?
Old Feverish Brixby rolled an 11 for a 19.
All right. How about Sloppy Tarazi?
Tarazi's sloppy, but the dice rolls ain't. That was a nat 20 for, sadly, only a 21. But yay, there's that number on my dice.
All right. The Ugly Allowan.
The ugly Allowan got a 19 on the die for a 26.
Wow. And the Belligerent Kira.
That's going to be a 4 on the die for an 11.
All right. So
Jeff is disappointed.
All right. We are going to begin combat with the Ugly Allowan going first.
Does this horrifying eel creature look like it has bones?
It looks like it's probably got bones.
Okay, then it needs to make me a fortitude save, please.
Might be a little fortitudinous. How does a 32 sound?
That sounds like that's 11 over the thing that it needs to hit, but it will still take half damage and is fatigued for 11 rounds. So that is d6 per cast levels. That is 11d6. I'm just going to roll it in the roller. And he is going to take half of 27, so rounded down, that would be 13 points of damage. And is fatigued for 11 rounds. And that is Allowan's turn.
There's a non-trivial amount of damage. All right. That will bring us to Asuma, and she is standing very safely far away from this creature, and she's going to shoot it with her rifle.
Not the new one, right? Because we're all sitting in the water with her.
No, she's going with the ice one. The ice one's her favorite. All right, first one is a hit. And second one is also a hit. And third one. Oh yeah, its touch is terrible. Pretty good. All right, Asuma is finished. I will calculate her damage in a moment, but in the meantime, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this big old chompy friend, and it is going to... I guess it's gonna have to charge because it's too far away. Alright, so what it's actually gonna do is it's gonna take a single move, swim up 35 feet towards the snake squad, and it's just gonna go out with a bite on the big ol' snake because it's the biggest target. How is a 31 versus flat-footed AC?
Well, with combat reflexes, he's not flat-footed,
Dang.
which makes that miss his 32 AC.
Ooh. That is good for you, because it can be bad to get hit by this particular creature, interestingly enough.
Sim. Yeah.
But it'll bring up the Snake Squad.
Snake Squad, yeah. And so on the map, I intentionally put Tarazi onto one of Levi's squares to indicate the fact that he's riding the swim speed snake. So those of you in the Foundry tier obviously saw that already, but the rest of you did not. So Levi, however, is going to incur, because in order to get Tarazi close enough, he's going to have to move through a threatened square. Although, could attempt an acrobatics to avoid the AOO. Why not? Let's do snake aquatic acrobatics. It's a nat 20 for a 28.
Oh, what is that against?
CM Dizzle.
That does not enough.
Even with a nat 20?
I don't think that is the kind of thing that has an automatic success. It's a skill check.
Probably true. Alright.
So the bad news is critical threat on the bite of opportunity. The confirm roll is a 36.
Okay, yeah, I'd call that bad.
This is going to be a lot. 82 damage on the bite.
Ow.
And an attempt to grab. Only a 32 on the grab.
Yep, that's successful though.
All right, well, you are grappled. But you're close now.
Yay. Thrown grappled on. That rocked Levi's face significantly. And they are going to attempt to reverse the grapple.
One thing. Was Levi affected by any spells?
Oh, don't love that, but no.
Okay.
Except maybe delay poison communal? I don't know if he was included in that.
Yeah, he's included.
Okay. Yeah.
And it is almost certainly dispelled, as a critical hit with this creature's bite affects the victim with a greater dispel magic.
But yeah, I can't imagine you're not going to pass a greater dispel against a third level spell.
Yeah.
It's 20
That's
on
rough.
or 22 on the caster level check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
that that's a huge deal, but
Yeah. I mean, in the context, I think being hit for 82 is a bit worse, but why not salt that wound? Butter the port, salt the wounds, reverse the grapple, let's go. Reverse the grapple. No, I couldn't roll a nat 20 on that, could I? That's only a 41.
41's enough.
Yeah.
No, wait, no, it's not. Never mind. Sorry. It's not.
That was rude.
That was,
All right.
Yeah. Blame Paizo.
It's okay. I mean, no, Paizo didn't tell me it was enough and then changed their mind. But you got.
They told me to say
All
that.
right.
It says it in the stat block.
Wow. Okay, I do blame Paizo. Okay then. Second, though he is, Tarazi is going to. Jeez Louise. Well, let's keep power attack on. See what happens. And toss out some null blade strikes. Is this thing an aberration?
No, it is not.
Bummer. Probably not a construct or a human.
Weirdly, no, not either of those.
I kid you not, a 2, a 1, and a 3 off the dice. So, I salute you, very capable 4. It's been a good run. I made it through a level up, and that'll be the end of Snake Squad's turn in life.
Okay, Feverish Brixby.
Okay, so what sort of knowledge would I be rolling on this thing?
This would be a Knowledge Arcana.
Oh, you a magical thing, aren't you? Oh, okay, not so great. That's only a 26 with an 8 off the die.
So that is enough to identify that this appears to be a Luquata, which are
Okay.
creatures that slip through dark tropical waters, preying upon all who dare enter their deep jungle rivers and pools, including beasts typically considered apex predators. While scholars say these beasts favor the dark, light doesn't deter them in their relentless pursuit of their prey. Their long, flat bodies are reminiscent of those of dolphins or large fish, but Luquata's heads are distinctly eel-like. They have an unusual ability to disrupt magical effects, and it is definitely not normal that a Luquata would be here in a decidedly non-tropical place.
This Luquata should not be in this water. Anyway. Do I get the impression that it could just, like, dive out of the water at its leisure? Or is the water so, like... Is it very deep? Does it seem like it emerged from the depths? Or was it kind of, like, right below when we saw its fin?
It seems like it was right below the surface. Where it is, the water's not particularly deep.
Okay. This is a rough call, gang. Because for a lot of these, so the first thing Brixby's going to do is he is going to move a full 30 feet closer. Because he's pretty far behind the rest of the party. And then Brixby is going to hit them with a Scorching Ray. And I am going to declare the first attack an impromptu sneak attack. So I am going to roll against touch here. Not great rolls. So that is a 15 versus touch, a 19 versus touch, and a 16 versus touch.
Yeah, those all hit. It's big.
Okay, cool.
Can you roll spell resistance?
Yes, I will. Happily. Maybe not happily, but I will roll it. Okay, that is a...
Oh, if it has SR, I should have rolled SR with my Bone Shatter.
Forgot about it the first time.
Oh, wait, I don't have to roll it multiple
No,
times.
it's
yet.
just the one for the...
Okay, so I rolled a nat 20 for a 36.
That'll do it.
All right, cool. So, do you need the fire of each ray separately, and do you want that separate from sneak attack damage?
I can all roll together.
Okay. That is going to be 60 points of damage.
That is a spicy meatball.
He sees his friends getting hurt, and he is stressed.
All right. Well, that brings us to Kira at the bottom of round 1.
Kira has decided she's also gonna just die because I forget. Are we underwater, or we can wade through this stuff?
Yeah,
right?
you can wade where you are. Yeah.
Wonder if I can wade charge. Probably not. There's a snake in the way. That's not that far. Kira is going to rage and casually move up to 30 feet to get right in this guy's face, and then hit it with a chainsaw.
All right.
Or, attempt to. Yikes. That is a 29.
29 will hit.
Cool. 5, 11, 36 points of chainsaw damage.
And it doesn't all seem to go through on this Luquata. But as it has a big old snake in its big old jaws, and everybody's starting to converge on this horrible beast beneath a much larger and much horrible beast rotting in the sun, I'm going to bed.
Night, Sam. Night, giant beast in the sun.
Good night, Sam.
Good night.
Good night, non-rotting beast and rotting
Good night,
beast.
horrible Mario 64 eel.
It's my favorite Weezer song. Like a giant rotting beast in the sun.
Against the machine. Against the machine.
Hot Against the Machine is property of Network Against the Machine LLC, all rights reserved. Pathfinder and the Iron Gods Adventure Path are property of Paizo Publishing. See their website for more details. Theme Against the Machine was written and performed by our own Zach. See the show notes for additional music and sound licensing. If you enjoyed the show, we encourage you to leave us a review.
I still can't get over Sam saying belt fruit with such quiet applause. It's got me for some reason.
Fat. I keep accidentally losing my place because I am good at this.
Phrages, or no, I guess that's Kira. Because aren't you aberrant as well? Isn't that your bloodline?
I think abyssal.
Abyssal. Ooh, the demon.
I think it's Damen.
I'm glad we're playing to the other ITs. That's what I'm going to refer to as ITs. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Please continue.
I would have aided that diplomacy, but I failed it by exactly 2. And now Binox is going to kill us all. Thanks, Second. Thanks, Peter's Apples.
Binax.